Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, version 15.1, the notice is in game, and in today's video, we're going to break down all of the fun stuff that is coming for the new update starting. I don't even know when this update starts, but I'm assuming it's around like One Piece Day, so around the next sort of week or two. Now, this one's an exciting one because I think there is the information of the damage cap increase. There's a new game mode in there as well, and some other stuff revolving around Kazuna. I have touched on a little bit. I have looked into it. I haven't had time to record, obviously, just with Friday being family day, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm super excited for this update, where the last one was a banger, so look, we're going to have a downtime every now and again. So, starting it off, we have OPTC Run. Control running Luffy and defeat enemies by tapping at the right time. So it seems like a new game mode where like Luffy just runs and then you sort of just tap. It might just be like a jump over feature, like it's like a I don't really know exactly how this is going to work, but you tap the screen to control holographic enemies and items will appear in front of Luffy. Tap at the right time to obtain a score, and you can obtain Rainbow Tavern Medals from Rank Rewards. For more details on Rainbow Tavern Medals, see the separate notice. So you can do this 3 times a day. You can recover it by using Stamina Meat. So I'm assuming this is going to be like PKA, where you can recover maybe 3 a day. It will be held weekly, and you'll be able to participate in an ongoing event. And yeah, so it just seems like a tap modifier, which is fine because like OPTC is about tapping, hitting your goods, your greats, and your perfect. Shout out to those guys. But yeah, I don't really know how amazing this game mode's going to be. It just seems like another thing to do per week, which is fine. Like having more things to do when you log into the game is great, and something hopefully it just doesn't take a lot of time. So that way, if you are a player that sort of logs in, plays the game for maybe half an hour to an hour a day, you can get this done very quickly and easily. We'll have to sort of see how these Rainbow Tavern Medals work. I really hope they don't take Rainbow Gems out of login bonuses and replace them with stuff like this, because this does seem like a limited gem opportunity, but we'll have to wait and see what these exactly look like when we get to that separate notice. Scrolling down now, we have the damage modifier update. So this is in regards to the damage limiter. So basically, the way the damage limiter works right now, or the damage cap, is if you hit over 1 trillion damage, your damage is drastically nullified. Now, I've always been in the camp that the damage cap just doesn't need to exist. However, 2 Super Bosses ago, for the 11th anniversary, we were seeing numbers like of absurd value. And that always happens when we have an in Super Boss. Every time we have an in Super Boss, the damage number just goes through the fucking roof. I don't know what it is about int, specifically in enemies. Sai just seems to have some of the most broken and busted damage dealing units in the game, and they just keep adding to it. So we saw 200 trillion damage just with the final tap of versus Luffy. So that damage is like taking all of the free spirit characters damage before that. So you're just seeing like over 300 trillion damage, which then turned into, I believe it was 7 trillion, I think was the final number for our big damage team, and then we did obviously another 1 trillion on the second turn. So previously, any damage over 1 trillion, there was a damage reduction modifier that was applied. Now that character levels and certain potential abilities are added in the future, the damage reduction modifier can be lowered in stages. So they're not just reducing the damage limiter, which straight away I think is absolutely stupid. They're basically paywalling it to say, all right, if you have particular abilities, if you have particular levels, then you are going to get a little bit more damage output. Now, I do want to state, before I dive into this, that Bandai specifically said that the damage reduction modifier was in play to close the gap between the end game players and the people that spend lots of money and have lots of very powerful units, and the mid-level player that can still hit really hard, grab the new units, maybe only have 1 copy compared to having, say, a Super Tandem level 5 Roger Gaban to a level 1 Roger Gaban, or vice versa with Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, whatever character you want to compare it to. They specifically stated this, that they wanted to make it more, what's the word? More convenient for players to hit these bigger numbers and just, again, not have such a huge gap between, say, the number 1 player and the number of, say, 1,000 player. They specifically said that. Now, what they're doing is like I said, they are going to reduce the damage reduction modifier by certain levels and potential abilities that are added in the future. I don't know, Chief. Sounds like they're going to add a damage reduction modifier limit break ability. That's immediately what I'm thinking when I read this. But right now, if you do 5 trillion damage, it approximately turns to 1.04 trillion. So, like, not a whole lot. So, it's essentially like you have the 1 trillion, and then it's 0.0, and then whatever the number you hit, it goes, like, to that number. So, say you did 10 trillion, it would be 1.09 trillion damage. I don't exactly know the exact math of that. I think it's like it's like divided by 1,000, I think it is. And that's how it works right now. So, say, for example, you did 100 trillion damage, it would be 1 point... What is it? No, I think that's where he hit 2 trillion. Yeah, I think that's where he hit 2 trillion. So for every 100 trillion damage, it goes up by 1, I think. I'm pretty sure. Again, I don't really know exactly the exact maths on it. But as you can see here, they try and give you an explanation here. Now, the modifier just goes straight from 5 trillion to 1.40. So you're gaining an extra, what, 400 bill, roughly? Which isn't bad. Like, I'll take that. Like, that's not a terrible thing. I would have liked them to just sort of say, all right, it's going to go to 3 trillion. Like, that's where my head was thinking. More even just saying, okay, we'll go to 2 trillion and we'll call it there. But look, 1.4, it's just free damage that you already have. Now, if you have the new damage limit break, you can go from 5 trillion to 2.3 trillion. This is dependent on the character level and the type, totaling at a 3 multiplier. So how to get these character levels and the type is all dependent on what your characters look like. So very, very weird stuff. Damage limit break 1. So the total character levels, you will deal more damage based on the total character levels of the crew. Damage limit break 2 is added potential abilities. Damage limit break type and damage limit break class will be appearing in the future, with the highest value being applied to the modifier. For each potential ability categories, the values do not stack, and the only highest of each category will take effect. The final modifier will be determined after adding the effect from character levels. These values in the images for development purposes only and don't differ from the actual value. So, again, I'm just hearing potential abilities being added and having characters at high levels. And to get characters at high levels, you need to get them to level 150. And to do that, you need to pull dupes of the character. So, again, what I'm hearing here is that you spoke about releasing a damage reduction cap to close the gap between the first and last player. Now, you're paywalling it to allow people that spend all that money to do more damage anyway. This ability, getting characters to 150, and I believe it said something like all characters need to be 150, and then also having a potential ability, which will probably be a gold tablet, by the way, is, again, paywalled to only summoning dupes of the character. How is that fair? Like, how does that make any sense? To say that, oh, we're trying to close the gap here between the number 1 player and the number 1,000 player, but now we're going to paywall how to do more damage, when damage was paywalled anyway. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I honestly think that the way they're doing this is incredibly greedy. It's incredibly selfish. It doesn't need to be done. And it's just like, okay, well, we've implemented an artificial difficulty, and now we're going to allow you to beat the artificial difficulty by giving us money. Like, that's fucked. Like, that is so fucked up in my eyes. So, yeah, I'm incredibly disappointed. Like, this was the most exciting part for me, the damage limiter being increased. And again, after 2 super bosses ago, or sorry, not like 2 super bosses, the 11th anniversary super boss, I was in the camp to say that the damage cap was a good thing. I didn't think that it needed to be removed, but at the same time, like, this is not the answer on how to fix the damage cap. Like that. Like, just getting an extra 400 billion, sweet, we'll take that. Honestly, it should be 2 trillion. It should be 3 trillion in my eyes. Hell, it should even be 1.5 trillion. But then to say, hey, if you have the max damage limit break at 3, now it goes from 5 trillion to 2.3 trillion. Like, you're still halving the fucking damage. Like, it's not fair. So, look. Let me know your thoughts on me and the damage cap in the comment section below. It's been a hot topic since it was released, and it's going to continue to do so. Changes with the recruit and power-up system. You can now recruit characters that have level limit break. Whoop-de-fucking-do. If this applies to the new character on a banner, if you can automatically pull the new character, say, at level limit break 4, or you're incredibly lucky and you can pull the character level limit break 5, like, then that's going to be awesome. But at the same time, like, I don't think this is going to be anything more than maybe having 2 copies, 3 copies, something like that. When you power up a character and using the same evolution tree, certain stats will be carried over. So I believe this means that if you have a Super Tandem level 2, character, the potential ability and co-op skills will be carried over. So, again, so say you have like a Super Tandem level 4 character and a Super Tandem level 1 character, but you accidentally put the Super Tandem level 4 into the Super Tandem level 1. Instead of that character going from 1 to 2, it'll go straight to 5. That's what I'm reading here. Even if you recruit a level limit break character and use it to power up, you can carry over the stats of the character. So again, if you have a level limit break 4 Luffy, say the Psy Luffy, and then you have a level limit break 2 Luffy, like those copies will get transferred into that new copy, if that makes sense. It's good. Honestly, it's a great way of allowing people to just power up characters easier. Now we have the new item for recruiting. So, Rainbow Tavern Medals. Obtain them from events and you can use it at the tavern instead of Rainbow Gems. The Tavern Medals will always be used first. However, they have an expiration date and will be lost once they expire. Tap on the information or the warning in the tavern to see when they expire. And the expiration date is close. The upside down exclamation point will turn into a red triangle exclamation point. So, this is scary to me. I don't know how I feel about this particularly, because this is kind of a way for them to just allow people to summon on like end of month banners and stuff like that. They're obviously going to try and find ways to get you guys to summon on banners that you don't want to. And the easiest way for them to do that is to restrict gems, give you a new item that can still be used for summoning like gems, but have it time gated or limited to particular banners. So that's sort of what I'm seeing here. For example, everyone has been summoning on the 11th anniversary, and now we're just back in a position where we want to stockpile gems. However, if they give us these particular medals that can be used on the Garling and the Garp banner, you're then going to want to use the medals on the Garling and Garp banner. Maybe you have enough medals to do 2 multis on that banner, which is great. But then all of a sudden, the third multi has a Sugo Fest character. You might spend some of your gems to just sort of do that extra step. That's kind of what I'm grasping here. What I really, really hope they don't do is that they take these medals and replace them where gems should be. And I can 100% see them doing that. Just having the ability, or having players lose out on currency that they can spend anywhere they like. Again, you don't have to just spend gems on summoning. Like, you can use it in Assault Rumble, PvP. What other game modes can you use it? Treasure Map. Like, gems are so valuable. Like, so ridiculously valuable. Especially for a mid-level player and a starting player. Please, for the love of God. Like, if you're adding this new system, that's great. To try and bait people into summoning more. But do not take gems away from other places, like login bonuses, like your daily islands. Like, just do not remove the amount of gems you are still giving out. Make this an addition to the gems you are giving out, because yeah, like I'm actually quite scared this system is going to just really hinder how people's gem stocks look by over time. So, yeah, it's pretty scary stuff. But at the same time, it could be really, really good, and it could just be, all right, this is just an extra, and now you're just getting, like, say, 2 to 3 free multis on banners you wouldn't normally summon on, which is going to be great picking up, like, level limit break dudes. Hell, you might get lucky, you might pick up a new character, you get rare recruits, and make farming content and stuff like that easier too. So that's like, best case scenario. Worst case scenario is that we actually just lose just free-to-play gems. Then we have Kazuna level turbo. When Kazuna level turbo is activated, you can challenge an enemy that is 4 levels ahead of the current level. So it seems like this is an item that you can use to skip levels in Kazuna. This is going to be really, really good for 10-star Kazunas. Hell, it's going to be really good for Super Boss Kazunas, provided you get the rewards. If you defeat the boss, the Kazuna with level turbo, we treat it as if you defeated the level of the challenge enemy, and you also obtain all the rewards from the skip levels. So you get the ticket drops, you get Super Boss tokens. Yeah, so like, you can easily just skip. Like, this is going to be so good in regular Super Boss. Well, not regular Super Boss, but like Super Bosses, where you just skip a whole bunch of levels and just gain all the Super Boss tokens with a boosted team, and it's just going to go absolutely AWOL. The thing is, if you lose, you have to try again with the same level, and the enemy's HP stats carry over. You can also send an assist request during the effect of the level turbo and have someone else clear it for you. So you can still use the suicide strat, which is actually pretty good. All pitches are still in development, blah, blah, blah. And that's basically the end. The thing about this system, the Kazuna Turbo, they're just adding another item into the game to make Kazuna a little bit more digestible. Now, we already know for a fact that we're not going to get enough of these Kazuna level turbo potions for them to really be that impactful early. Sort of like anything when they first come to the game. Like, look at Super Cola. Like, we never got enough Super Cola for what we need, but now we have so much of it that we don't really care. This is kind of the same thing. Like, if you just stockpile it and then use it all when you need to, it's not going to seem that drastic. But again, I think they're probably just going to paywall this as well, throw them into gem packs when the Kazuna comes out. And the whales are just going to feast, and the people that don't are just going to have to sort of buy their time and stockpile their materials until it becomes relevant. It's not a bad thing. It's not the answer that we need for Kazuna. Kazuna's still doomed, so like this doesn't fix anything. But at the same time, it definitely adds another dimension to it, which is kind of interesting as well. I think the best thing they've done for Kazuna lately is the fact that there's only 2 bosses. I think that's an exceptional change. But overall, like I said, I'm not exactly hyped for this this whole 15.1. OPTC run seems kind of cool. Different way to play the game, which I do like. Like that's excellent. You're obviously going to get these Rainbow Tavern Medals. Rainbow Tavern Medals scare the shit out of me, though. I really don't want them to replace regular gems. Again, best case scenario is that we just get these as an extra and we keep the gems that we're already attaining. That would be the best way to go about it. As for the damage modifier update, honestly, I don't even want to touch on it. I'm actually just so annoyed that this is how it is. The expectation that they had about closing the gap, and it was just, to me, it just all seems bullshit. Like, everything they've said about the damage cap has just been a fucking lie. And, like, what now? They just want to paywall it as well. So, like, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What are you most excited for this update? The quality of life stuff with recruiting and powering up is quite nice. So, like, I can't complain too much there. But overall, this update just seems like it's just happening. So, like I said, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. While you're down the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Let's